So.
Yeah, it was, of course, a very busy one for us here in Florida. We had a lot of issues. Also had some tropical storms, too. So I was in the middle of both of the hurricanes. Hermine on the Gulf Coast, spent several days out there. And then about a month later, which was 50 days ago, 50 days ago, Hurricane Matthew. And they were two different storms. So you're looking at video there in Steinhatchee. That's on the Gulf Coast, a small little fishing village where, you know, Hurricane Hermine, a lot of us forgot about Hurricane Hermine because here in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, we got hit harder by Matthew. But we can't forget that the people out there got hit very, very hard for Hermine, especially in places like Cedar Key, Steinhatchee, you know, the Withlacoochee area where they just don't have the infrastructure that we have.
You know, and I know you've kept in touch with a lot of people out there. Many of them, it's you know, they depend on tourism, and that's how they make their living. And a lot of people are still rebuilding. Absolutely.
So they asked me to spread the word that, you know, go out there. If you do want to do a vacation, maybe instead of going to the old Orlando theme parks, take your family to Steinhatchee. Take them fishing, give them a little outdoor experience. Same thing with Cedar Key.
I mean, we went to Cedar Key last year, or a couple years ago, and spent a few days there, and I loved it. We went out on one of the airboat rides, and just, I mean, it's like you said, it's something different. So instead of doing the same old thing, I mean, they really need that money. They really need the money coming in.
Yeah, it's charming. It's old Florida, and you know what? Those people, the next morning, this is the Sea Hag Marina there in Steinhatchee. The next morning, they were all out there. They hadn't slept through the night because it was really scary.
Yeah, of course.
And they're up rebuilding.
Wow.
And they're just doing everything they can. They're so resilient. And you're also looking at some video here in Jacksonville. That's from San Marco, the St. Johns River. Also, we can't forget about Hurricane Matthew.
No.
That's the freshest storm in most people's minds. That's the storm that really affected most of our viewers.
And still affecting a lot of our viewers. A lot of people are saying that they're still waiting, you know, to get the money from FEMA, that they're still, you know, feeling the effects. Whether it's, I was just reading over some notes that we received from our IT team and some stories that they're working on, where people, you know, all these weeks later are still feeling the impact and still just trying to rebound to a normal life.
Yeah, and you're looking at some video from Jacksonville Beach. You'll remember I was up and down the coastline, actually out in the storm, and I saw the Jacksonville Beach pier come down.
Piece by piece.
Yeah, I saw the water breach the seawall. I saw the dunes get ripped away. This was in Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, and then of course St. Johns County got hit really, really hard. Villano Beach, Michler's Landing, Ponte Vedra. Some of those homes still are not even safe for people to move back into, and it's a big headache. And it's easy for us to forget, if your house wasn't that badly damaged, that there are people that are still homeless.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are people that are either in rental homes, including some personal friends of mine. I'm not going to name them.
Well,
but
you had damage and had to have like walls ripped out, and I mean, you know,
it was expensive.
When these, that's one thing I think that, you know, unless it directly affects you, unless you have people that you know, when these types of waters come in and your house gets flooded, even if the water washes in and washes out, I mean, that's it. The walls have to come out because, you know, this is contaminated waters. So anything that you see there, that was the video that really took my breath away when I first saw it, of the water coming over the, you know, the dunes. That's just thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage to each home and business, and then weeks of work.
Yeah, and a lot of businesses still trying to recover, especially in St. Augustine, where you're seeing video now. And it's important. A lesson learned here is some people in some communities might not have had very many issues. Maybe you lived in Clay County, maybe you lived in McClenny, and you had some wind and some rain and you were fine. But you just never know, because there were people that were in Queens Harbor, for example, Empire Point, Ponte Vedra Beach, that got hit really, really hard, potentially life-threatening there. And thank goodness no one was killed directly by the storm. Unfortunately, we did lose some lives in the aftermath and the cleanup in Northeast Florida, which is certainly a tragic situation. But the thing is, be prepared. You never know. These storms cannot be underestimated. They are very strong and potentially deadly.
They are.